Hi, I'm Danny Poulos with the elite lending team at FEMBI Mortgage. Thanks for joining us this week on Real Estate Insiders. We've got two really exciting guests coming. First, it's going to be Michael Brue. He's the general manager of 4 Keller Williams offices. And then we're going to be spending time with Patty Hayner of Palm Beach Staging. She's going to explain to us what it means to stage a home when you're buying or selling. So stick with us, and we'll be right back with our first guest. Hi, thanks for coming back. We're here with Michael Brue. He's the general manager of 4 Keller Williams offices here in South Florida. And he's going to give us a little insight on really two things. What customers in the real estate market are looking for from their real estate agent, and also the flip side, what real estate agents are looking for in the firms they work for, and how does that also, at the end, affect the clients? So, Mike, thanks for joining us this morning.
Good to be back.
Tell the people who you are.
Michael Brue. I'm the broker general manager for Keller Williams of the Palm Beaches, Jupiter, Stewart, and Port St. Lucie.
And that's a hot market right now up in that area, right?
We've got a lot of good things going on. A lot of growth right now.
Okay, so let's get right back to what we wanted to talk about. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm looking at different companies to decide where should I have my license, who do I want to work with. In most cases, what's the agent looking for from the company that they choose?
Well, I think if agents have figured it out at this point, what is really important is that people really don't do business with a real estate brand or a company. They actually do business with an individual, like an agent. So real estate's done on a local level, just like it couldn't be 74 degrees in the United States. It certainly doesn't matter which company they're ultimately with. People do business with that local agent on a local level.
Right, so, you see it every day. There's people that have been working in this market for 20 years, and they're at the top of their game. So I expect what you're saying is it really wouldn't matter what company name is on the card. Knowing them.
And that's a funny thing, is because we're kind of creatures of habit, and we don't like change. We like to stick with the same thing that we know. Even if something better arrives, or if something might be better for our client, often we don't take a look because we're kind of resistant to that change. But ultimately, you're right. I think clients and customers are going to choose the person over the brand.
All right. So again, if I'm the agent, then I've got to be with somebody. Unless I just want to be in my own office so I can work at home in my shorts and flip-flops. But if I'm going to show up in an office, what might I be looking for in the company I choose to align myself with? Because what I think of is some agents seem to specialize in, let's say, luxury properties. Other agents might seem to specialize in first-time home buyers. We spoke with people who do a lot of international markets. So I have to figure that those resources might be more available some places than others. So would you look for a company that could support the market you're reaching out to, I guess?
Yeah, I guess if I was a real estate agent, I'd take a look at who's supporting those markets, who's supporting the luxury market, who's supporting the international market. And I don't think it hurts you to put a really good company brand, along with your name, because then you co-brand. And once you figure that out, that's kind of like the key mechanism to ultimate success. If somebody's specializing in the luxury market, then it would make sense that you'd want to be with somebody with a luxury division. It'd probably make further sense to have a luxury division that is growing rapidly across the United States, into Canada, and maybe across the globe. Because ultimately, luxury buyers who are buying $4 and $5 million properties are not today's our doctors and attorneys and other realtors. These are typically people who are very well-to-do, who own homes all across the United States and across the globe. So it would make sense if they do business in one area, like say Colorado, that they get referred to an agent down in Florida, that they would also look up who's in the luxury division in that market.
So I guess they get used to working with a company in one market. They have a good experience, and just would be natural for them to feel good to stick with that same firm, and maybe they would be working with a different agent but with the same firm.
Sure.
So if I'm dealing in the luxury market, it would be nice if the firm I'm with has a presence in other markets throughout the country, right?
Exactly.
All right, so that's one thing. And I know a couple of weeks ago we were talking to a woman that was an expert in international markets. So I was asking, how do you reach out to people? She said China was a hot market, and Eastern Europe was a hot market, people coming here to buy houses. So I guess there's different ways for the company to reach out to markets around the world rather than just local. We know the real estate is local, but what would a company do to reach out to international markets?
Well, so I think that's a good topic. See, what happens is if you and I lived in New York and we had some killer condo, maybe upper flat, and it was just decked out, and that's where we were looking for a place in Florida, we probably wouldn't look in the New York Times. We'd probably go online and search keywords in Google in Florida for properties in Florida. And the same thing is true for a buyer from China or a buyer from Brazil or a buyer from Europe. They're not going to look in their own papers in their hometown. They're actually going to go out to the internet and they're going to explore some of the keywords for the search areas in the markets that they ultimately want to be in. I think another key in that is that buyers are a little bit more educated today, and they know more specifically where they want to live. It's not just I want to live in Florida. Florida's pretty long and so wide. So what they say is not only do I want to live in Florida, I want to live in Jupiter, Florida, and I want to live in Abacoa, Florida. They might even know the subdivision of New Haven that they want to move into.
Right. So once you're with a firm that's got a presence in where that client wants to buy, that's really how you're reaching out to them. So a lot of that obviously is done on the internet.
I think there's for an agent, it's important not only to who they're with for them, but also for their client.
Right.
What I like to see is always keeping the client at the pinnacle of everything that we do. So I think it's important for real estate companies to put the client at the pinnacle and put their searches and what they're looking for. About 2 or 3 years ago, we caught on to something that I think had already caught fire, and that's the internet presence. And so I think as an agent, back to what you had asked about what an agent's looking for, I would be researching who has an ever-growing presence in the internet today, because it has become almost impossible for an individual agent to compete with the internet market, with Trulia, Realtor.com, and some of the other big national companies who are pouring hundreds of thousands of dollars into search engine optimization each year. So I think that we caught wind of that, and I think we were playing catch up. But I can tell you that's the fastest growing piece of our internal organization is placement on Google. Where are we ranking, and how are we helping our agents, and as well as helping our clients find those properties.
Yeah, I think that's something that's sort of ignored nowadays. We all say, the internet is so important, and you've got to have a presence, you got to reach out to people. But we all know that there's a lot of old school agents that are still having problems with email, but they're some of the most successful agents, and they do things their own way, and maybe they've got certain communities that deal with only them. But I don't think you can ignore how important it's going to be. It may not be tonight and it may not be tomorrow, how their presence is really going to be diminished. Like, I know if they show up at my mom's house and they eat her cookies and they dress nice and they're respectful, they're probably going to be doing business. But nowadays, if you're dealing with that market, under 55, they want to see you on the internet and know that you're somebody. So I think that's it's really important that the company you're with has got a presence that you can ride the coattails of and identify with.
Yeah, so that's a good point. See, I look at it like the agent kind of becomes the client, if you will.
Right.
And when we're looking at an agent looking to join, I kind of get it. I understand real estate agents. I understand what they will do, what they won't do. It's kind of been my study. And I understand that agents, even if they can't speak the language of technology, it's okay. We still have to find a way to support them with their technology. So one of the things that we do is we kind of run all the technology back here. It's kind of like the background music that's going to be in the background of the lead singer. The agent's the lead singer. They're going to primarily bring in the business based on their sphere of influence. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up all their technology. And I think it's important that you have a company that's going to do that. So whatever company that you're looking for, are they going to be able to help you create a presence, and are they going to help you just set it up? Because most agents, you're right, Danny, don't know how to speak the language. And it's not that they don't recognize that they need to, and it's not that they don't want to. It's, how do I do that?
Right. And so the person that's reaching out for that kind of help, that's going to be one of the questions they ask when they're picking out a firm. And you said something right at the very beginning about the brand is really the agent. And I've said that in the past too. I call that brand you. And what is brand you? And you want to make somebody feel brand you. So if the company is taking that attitude that the individual agent is the brand, I think that's what you're telling me, is that the company needs to learn how to support that the individual is the brand.
Yeah, and you know what? That was a huge awakening. And I think it's when you really become alive, when you figure out that it's not the company. No matter what the company does, people aren't doing business with this company.
Right.
People do business with individual agents based on their local spheres of influences. And that's who the primary bulk of the market's going to be. So I think what we do as a company is that we should figure out how to get behind those agents and kind of push their brand up to the pinnacle so that that's who people see when they're doing business. See, most of the agents who figure this out have a very live moment. They become like aware of new surroundings. And that's when they'll probably go exploring for, what am I missing? What don't I have yet? And maybe I should take a look at it.
Right, and I would expect that's a big step for people even that have been in real estate for a long time, and they're comfortable with the way they've been doing things, but they may see things happening around them. They may see other people just exploding, and they say, well, what took them to that point? How do I become like that? How do I add what they're doing to what I'm doing to be better? And I think you're one of the people that has shown how to bring that spark to somebody and say, we know you're great. Have you seen this? To where they can add something to their productivity and in the end, of course, make everybody more successful.
You know, that's a great point. I think good is the biggest evil of great, and that's been said for throughout time. And so if you're naturally gifted and you're naturally good and you have these talents, it's probably going to be more difficult for you to want to make this change because you're doing okay. You don't know yet what better is. In the realm of there's three things. There's what you know, there's what you don't know, and there's what you don't even know you don't know yet.
Right.
And when you get to that moment of awareness and you start exploring that, then you'll figure out, look, you're good. You've been stuck doing 10 or 14 million a year. That's very respectable. That's an awesome business. But did you know with 2 or 3 small changes, because the market has changed, because of how we do business change, if you make that change, you could move also from 10 or 14 to 16 or 20. And how about this? In less time. See, I think that as we go on, time becomes more of a priority and more of value than how much money we're making. Although we could make more money and figure out how to do it in less time. That's what I'm in search of.
Right. I think we have a whole nother show in the making here. Mike, tell people how they can reach you if they want to discuss this further.
Well, I think it's real important to understand how to reach me. You can call me at 561-301-3287. You could also call any Keller Williams office, ask for Michael Brue, and they'll patch you through to me. And I also think it's real important that if somebody's looking to reach out to me and they're asking like a question about why, I would tell you to put fun at the center of everything. Put fun at the center of everything in your business life. Put fun at the center of everything in your personal life. You're only going to get one go round.
Thanks, Mike. Great having you here today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.